Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the NJ Podcast. This podcast aims to share stories, tips, and insights about achieving success while having fun. From topics ranging from personal development to business, entertainment, and sports, the podcast will have conversations with experts and people in their respective fields. The podcast will also share insights from Jablo James's published and upcoming books. The tagline, which is the theme of the podcast, is "Success is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal." This means that you are doing what you have always wanted to do because it is aligned with your highest values, and this is the only way you can live a truly fulfilled life. Your host, Jablo James. Brothers and sisters, welcome to another episode in the segment, The Foolishness of Preaching. This is where we talk about the gospel of Jesus Christ and how it can make your life better. As is custom on the show, we're going to start off with a story. Now, there was a young boy who was praying loudly in his room one night. His father walked by and overheard him saying, "God, if you give me a new bike, I promise to be good for a whole week." The father was about to correct him when he continued, "No, make it a month. No, I know what I'll do. If you give me a new bike, I'll go to church every Sunday for a year." The father, stifling a chuckle, decided to intervene. He opened the door and said, "Son, God isn't deaf." The boy looked up and smiled, and he said, "I know, Dad, but Grandma isn't, and she's in the next room." Isn't that a bit funny? The ways we try to negotiate with God. We all do it, don't we? But our focus today is not on negotiation, but connection. Our scripture today is John 15 verse 5. "I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing." Today we are talking about staying connected with God. Consider for a moment the image the verse paints. A vine and its branches are connected. They are part of the same organism. The life that flows in the vine also flows into the branches. The health and the growth of the branches depend on their connection to the vine. Without the vine, branches cannot bear fruit. What Jesus is saying here is simple yet very profound. Stay connected to me. So how do we stay connected to God? Firstly, you stay connected through prayer. Prayer is not just a wish list like we present to God. It's a conversation, a dialogue. It's spending time in His presence, listening as much as we speak. 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 17 says, "Pray without ceasing." In other words, maintain an ongoing conversation with God. Don't just speak. Listen. Second, through His word, we can stay connected to Him. 2 Timothy 3 verse 16 to 17 says, "All scripture is God-breathed and is useful for teaching, rebuking, correcting, and training in righteousness, so that the servant of God may be thoroughly equipped for every good work." If we want to stay connected to God, we must engage with His word, read it, study it, meditate on it. And third, we stay connected to God through obedience. Jesus said in John 14 verse 15, "If you love me, keep my commandments." Obedience is a tangible expression of our love for God. It demonstrates that we value His will above our own. Fourth, through community. The early Christians in Acts 2 verse 42 devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to fellowship, to the breaking of bread and prayer. Community keeps us grounded. It encourages us and helps us to stay accountable. Finally, we stay connected to God through worship. Now, worship realigns our heart with God's. It gifts our gaze from the temporal to the eternal, from the seen to the unseen. In worship, we declare God's work, His worth, His majesty, and His greatness. Staying connected to God is not a one-time decision, but a daily commitment. It requires effort, yes, but the rewards are immeasurable. A branch connected to the vine is not just alive, it is thriving. It bears fruit. So too, when we stay connected to God, we bear much fruit. Fruit that will last. Let us make our aim, our prayer to stay connected to God so that we might bear fruit for His glory. Now may God bless every single one of you, brothers and sisters.
Thank you for joining us on this episode on the NJ Podcast. Make sure to visit the website, the njpodcast.captivateair.fm, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, all the other podcast platforms, or via RSS so you never miss a show. You can also find the video content on the YouTube channel and Instagram page. That will be Njablo James on YouTube and njablo.j.ngosi for Instagram. Please subscribe and follow on those platforms as well. And while you're at it, if you found value in the show, we'd appreciate a rating on the podcast platforms, or if you'd like to tell a friend about the show, that will help us out too. If you'd like more information about published or upcoming books, visit www.njablojames.com for more information. Please reach out if you'd like to share what you would like to hear and which guests should be invited to the show. And remember, success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal, which means that you are doing what you have always wanted to do because it is aligned with your highest values, and this is the only way you can live a truly fulfilled life. Now just chill until the next episode.